about to show you something that is perfectly legal, but think about your own reaction when I tell you this was right outside the convention center where President Obama spoke today in Phoenix. This is a man who showed up with what we believe to be a semi-automatic rifle hanging off his shoulder. Arizona, among the states where you can carry a firearm in public.
I'm exercising my rights as an American in Arizona. Well, I come from another state where open carry is legal, but no one does it, so the police don't really know about it, and they harass people, arrest people falsely, and I think that people need to get out and do it more so that they get kind of conditioned to it.
And he was not alone. About a dozen others were also in the crowd, armed. Are they merely invoking their rights or part of what could be a really dangerous trend here? With me right now, conservative commentator and constitutional attorney Mark Smith, former New York Police Department investigator Lou Palumbo, who now heads his own security firm, and in Chicago, CNN political analyst Roland Martin with us as well tonight. Mark, let me start with you on this. Nobody questioning anybody's Second Amendment rights here. I mean, this is about just basic rational thought, bringing a gun to an event where the president is speaking?
Well, I think it is dopey, but the fact is he's legally allowed to do it, and people make political statements whenever they go to political events, and if he's making a political statement about the fact that he has the right to carry arms, so be it. Keep in mind, I'm sure people showed up with newspapers exercising their First Amendment rights, and keep in mind, President Obama, he wants to leave the Beltway. He wants to leave New York City. He wants to go out there and meet real Americans. Well, real Americans carry guns. Real Americans own guns for self-defense because, you know, real Americans don't have Secret Service officers surrounding them 24/7. So if he wants to talk to Americans...
You're telling me that guy was carrying a gun to that rally for self-defense?
I don't know why he was carrying the gun. But the point is, Americans, when you leave the Beltway in Washington and New York City, carry guns. They own guns. If President Obama wants to talk to real Americans, he's going to have to talk to people that own guns.
People walk around with semi-automatic. Look, I'm from Louisiana. I know a lot of people with guns, but as far as I know, they don't walk around with semi-automatic weapons.
Well, of course they do, because every gun that people carry is a semi-automatic, because automatic weapons are machine guns, and you're not really allowed to own those unless you especially qualify for a very special permit. The point is that if President Obama wants to sell his health care plan to ordinary Americans, he's going to have to sell his plan to people that like guns, whether or not the media elite in New York like it, and whether or not the political elite like it.
Roland, go
That's
ahead.
the reality.
Sorry, I'm going to let you do this.
Mark. Cut this crap about the media elite, okay? I'm born and raised in Texas. This was a town hall meeting dealing with health care. All this guy wanted to do was get on television.
I agree.
That's exactly. Mark, 1 second. So enough with this stuff about,
he's not the only one either, to Roland's point. I mean, a lot of people have been doing this to make a point or whatever, but the bottom line is there are kids there, there are other people at this rally, the president is there. I mean, let Lou jump in here. Can't the Secret Service do something about this?
Yes, they can. There's a division in the Secret Service called Protection and Intelligence, and I'm certain right now they're taking a look at anybody that demonstrated this lack of discretion and insensitivity. And this transcends our legal right to carry a weapon. It's about our good judgment and good taste. You know, this president has a wife and he has children. And these incidents impact these people as well as the president. And quite frankly, you know, if they're going to continue to act with this level of indiscretion, I will guarantee you that the proper adjustments are going to be made in the law enforcement community to make sure that these people are properly surveilled.
Oh, come on. Good judgment? Yeah, I agree. It wasn't good judgment. But now you're going to go out there and pass laws to deal with good judgment. Well, if you're going to start passing laws about judgment, you've got a very long way to go.
No one said anything about passing
It's
laws.
not about passing laws. It's about asking the
Secret
Service to step in a little more aggressively. I mean,
this
whether
the
president's a Democrat or Republican.
Let's cut to the chase. Let's cut to the chase. This man was not arrested. Nobody was arrested, and those people that had guns were not arrested. They were acting peaceably. They were acting within the law. And the fact that you don't like it proves my point. You don't understand Americans.
Let me let Roland jump in.
You know what, Mark? If you were giving a speech and there were people who were showing up with guns, I doubt you would be standing there saying, yay, that's great. But here's the other thing. CNN.com had a story the other day of a man who was carrying 3 handguns, who was wheeled into a hospital for a head injury. They took the guns away from him. All of a sudden, they found he pulled another gun out. The officer had to shoot him, and they killed him in the hospital. So, you look, I get this whole notion of gun culture, but the reality is this is the president at a health care meeting. If you want to talk about the Second Amendment, fine, have another forum.
This was not a meeting.
Healthcare.
These people were outside the meeting, Roland. These were not the people that were actually in the meeting. They were outside the meeting. And last I knew, in Arizona and in most places in the United States, you can go to a meeting and exercise your constitutional rights. The United States Supreme Court says that you have the right to bear arms. You may not
Okay,
like
let me
that,
just-
but that's
let
just
me
the way
throw
the
one
law
other
is.
thing
It's
out
called
here.
decency,
If we're trying
Yeah, but
to
you're
have-
not gonna legislate
Mark,
that.
I mean, in all honesty, can we agree that the people showing up with guns, I would assume, are against health care
No, I don't think we can at all. I think that's not right at all. How do we know why they're there?
Okay, the guy
This
just
is an
said,
assumption
he said he
that
was
it-
there because he was against health care reform. He's
well,
carrying a
he
rifle.
may be, but
so
what
are
is
they
the
helping
connection?
their cause if they're trying to make a statement about health care reform, showing up with a gun?
Well, I think that that's not even a fair assumption. How do we know why these people? Look at the Blue Dog Democrats. The Blue Dog Democrats, for example,
I'm not
are
assuming
pro-guns.
he said that, Mark.
You know, Campbell,
This is one guy out of. This is one guy, and
well,
we're talking on national TV about
I'll tell you
one
about
guy.
I'll tell you about guns and healthcare, Campbell. When you have 40+ kids on the south side of Chicago who are killed every year because of guns, I tell you, it impacts healthcare. So you want to have a healthcare conversation, Mark?
Yeah, let's have a
one.
healthcare
But this is
conversation.
not a gun conversation.
Let's talk
They
about
should
the
leave their
gun-
guns at home.
Let's talk about the guns that save lives. Let's talk about those guns that protect good people from bad people who want to do bad things. Let's talk about what happened at the Holocaust Museum
guys,
and all that.
Everybody-
Let's talk about it.
Everybody, cool it. I'm out of time, but I think where we want to end this conversation is that's a conversation you can have without bringing guns to a crowded place where people and children are walking around
Absolutely.
trying to have a civil dialogue. Okay, I'm with Roland on this. Thank you, though. Appreciate your time, Mark. Thank you very much, Lou, for coming in as well. Roland, as always.